everybody. Welcome to the studio tonight. And today we have, or tonight, I guess it is, we have a special guest. His name is Scott Gilday, and he goes by SG Artworks. So we're going to have a few questions for him and anything else that he'd like to talk about. It looks like he has some of his artwork behind him, so we might talk about some of that too. So, well, tell our viewers how exactly you became an artist.
Well, I became an artist pretty much since I was a little kid. I've always been making stuff up, whether it was imaginary friends or I remember trying to write little stories when I was in grade school. And then as I got older, I got into punk rock and skateboarding, and I played in a band in high school.
Ooh.
And then after that, after my music days finished up because it's punk rock, 3 chords and a scream, and you got a band. It's awesome.
Well,
after my kids were born, then I just sort of laid low and did the responsible dad thing and raised my kids. Now my kids are pretty much grown. I got twin boys that are in college.
oh, wow.
My daughter's getting ready to go into her freshman year of high school.
Oh, my
And
goodness.
so I painted and did everything all through them growing up for fun.
Uh-huh.
And then when COVID hit, I had saved up enough money, and I have a real supportive girlfriend that realized that we only got one life to live, and we want to live it. So I decided when I lost my job through COVID
Uh-huh.
to give going for art a real chance. So that's what I've been doing for almost 2 years now.
Oh, nice, nice. Yeah, COVID did a lot of different things to people, that's for sure. I retired, so now I'm like, I understand.
Mine was a reminder that I was supposed to be on a podcast today.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. so,
Thanks, Bone.
let me ask you a question. What kind of genre do you consider your art to fit into? Is it like abstract expressionism or just expressionism or
Well, to be quite honest with you, I'm a self-taught guy, so I really don't understand all that stuff.
okay?
So I always like to tell people that it's sort of like the Billy Madison version. Like I paint blue ducks because I want to see blue ducks.
Uh-huh.
Or I tried to do some research for the podcast. Thank you for the heads up on a couple of the questions, by the way.
Yes.
Most people would probably call it brute or art brute. That seems to be like the most relevant term to what I do.
Yeah.
There's
A lot of
no-
illustrative kind of
a lot
things
of-
going on there too.
Yeah, there's not a lot of rhyme or reason to what I paint or why I paint it.
Mm-hmm.
So it all depends on my mood because I have a really, I think, unique process to where I don't paint for like 2 weeks while I just sketch or take notes.
Mm-hmm.
But then when I sit down to paint, in 4 days, I'll do 15 paintings.
Oh my goodness! Wow.
Because I'm very ADD and I have to get it done. And once I
Yeah.
start, I hate stopping a project to start it again later because then by the time I do, I've changed my mind where I want it to be.
Right. Right. I think we all have a little bit of that as artists. We start something and then all of a sudden it changes to something else by the time we're finished.
But sometimes that's great. And I've got a couple pieces around here that started out as one thing, turned into something that I messed up, turned it into something completely different, which was awesome because then I got to go back and do the original piece that I wanted to do and learn from the mistakes that I made when I messed up and turned it into something else.
Yeah. It's kind of funny because we were talking about that today. I did a live at 1:30. I do it with a girl. Her name is Artfully Blind with Diana. And she's got some blind issues. She's not completely blind, but we were talking about making mistakes, and how you get around that. Well, I hate to say, I mean, once in a while I make a mistake, but with acrylic, I paint with acrylic. You can kind of cover up the mistake and go over it and restart.
It's a beautiful thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's why I use acrylics too.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's one of the
I
better.
have no patience to wait for something to dry so I can put the next color on.
Right.
Let's go.
Yeah. That's what I like about it. Now, when you do pastel or watercolor or even oils, it takes forever for the oils to dry before you can fix it. And um, pastel, I mean, once you make a mistake, that's it. You know, you can't really fix it too much. But so you are self-taught, and
Absolutely.
so where do you kind of get your inspiration from? Is there a particular artist that you really like, or
Um, I do have artists that I like, but it's funny because, like I said, I'm self-taught and I really don't know too much about art history or anything. Like people could show me some of like the world's most famous paintings, and I'll have no idea what it is. Or I could walk by like a guy on the street and be like, "Oh, that is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen," and that's the way I view all art. If it
Mhm.
catches my eye and I like it and I think it's pretty, that's all I need. And
Yeah.
but as far as like, if you want to know like artists that I like old school tattoos like Sailor Jerry. Um, Surprisingly, I really like Norman Rockwell stuff. Like back when he
Mhm.
used to do the covers of I forget the name of the magazine, but like for some reason that is absolutely gorgeous to me.
Oh
Like
yeah.
probably because I can't draw that well, and it
Oh.
I, I tend to like stuff that I don't do well,
Uh-huh.
but I'm comfortable with it because I've been doing it so long with the way I do it. I'm
Yeah.
afraid that if I try to do something and get into something that I don't usually do, then it'll take away from the flavor that I have with
Well,
what
you
I.
have your own technique. I mean, we all have our own technique that we like. I sometimes will stretch myself into different things, but
Yeah,
it's
I like to do different things. Like I
yeah,
make. Oh Jesus! Oh my Lord!
it never fails.
Shh! Stop it! You're gonna get me in trouble. Um,
Yeah. So,
I lost my train of thought. See, that's how
well,
I.
yeah, just our techniques and how we paint. Sometimes I've stretched myself in different directions, but I always fall back. Like I like to paint animals. I'm more realistic. I'm not one that goes like you're a little bit different than what I am. I'm more realism, and I think yours is more expressionistic. You know, and it's almost illustrative to me the way I see it here. You have like like yeah, I like that. I like the
I
clown
like to
and
paint a multiple different kinds of subjects.
yeah,
And I also like to like design T-shirts. Like I do all kinds of creative things,
uh-huh,
so I don't get bored.
yeah,
And I got enough hobbies that just trying to perfect how to draw
yeah,
drive me nuts because I don't really enjoy like the ones that I do that I try to make more realistic and or get those fine details that a lot of people love that just drive me nuts to the point where I want to throw the canvas across the room and be like, I hate art.
yeah, yeah. Sometimes it can be challenging with that.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
to me, that's not the fun kind of challenge. Like
yeah,
that's the makes people want to not do it because it's not fun. And if I'm not
yeah,
having fun doing
yeah.
this,
The
I
details,
don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I spent too many
right?
years in the working in the trades and doing all that stuff that now that I'm taking this time in my life to do what I love, I want to
Mhm.
do what I love. I don't want to ruin it doing something I don't like just to show somebody that I could do it if I really
Yes,
wanted to.
that's right. Yeah, you're there to be enjoy what you do, not what someone else likes. And
Yeah,
that always bothers me, especially like in certain galleries, like they want you to be a certain type of artist, and I'm thinking, you know what, this is the way I am. If you don't like this, what.
yeah. There's other galleries.
That's right. There's always somebody that'll hang it up.
Yeah, there's like 8 billion people in the world. If you don't like this, I like this painting here.
Yeah,
I guarantee you, there's somewhere on the earth that somebody else is going to be like, no, that's not too bad. I like it.
yeah,
Somebody will like it, and if they don't, I like it enough that it can stay here.
yeah, I like it. That's how I feel. You know,
I don't
I
even know
don't
which
sell
one
much.
it's
Yeah, well, I don't sell much, unfortunately.
That's
Once
the
in a
rough
while.
part.
Pardon me?
That is the rough part is getting
Yeah,
to buy it, and but
yeah,
it's coming along for me a little bit. You know, I
that's
just
good.
sold a couple pieces last week.
Yeah,
Last week.
I I do sell some, but I don't like some people make. thousands of dollars a month selling their art, but
And
yeah,
good for them.
I'm lucky I sell one a year, or two a year, and then I'm fine. That's good for me. So, so now you said your medium is acrylic. Is that all you use then?
Pretty
Acrylic?
much. Like I mess around with alcohol ink markers
Oh
and
yeah.
paint markers. Um, I got a real good deal on a cry cut machine, Tommy. That's from my boy Tommy. It's a
Oh,
printing machine. I always, when I first seen it, I didn't know how to pronounce it, so I kept calling it
a
cry
lot of
cut.
people call it that crack.
But and I have a blast designing stuff with that.
Yeah.
I love making decals and iron on T-shirts and stuff like.
Mhm.
So when I get too frustrated with the painting and the drawing, sometimes I'll get in there and
Yeah, I've been doing that too. I've been making
it's
T-shirts
fun.
and mugs, and yeah, I got my crack up during the pandemic when we were laid off because I was working there part time and got those nice little checks that I was getting. So got a couple
Yeah,
things, it was not, and that was one of them. I love it.
I got my cry cut like the whole system for $45 on a auction, like a, what do they call them, like a buyout
Yeah.
auction place. And then like I went on their website and I bid,
Uh-huh.
and I was like, I bid for like 2 days on it, and it never went past $45. And I was like, man, I'm gonna get this thing, and it's gonna be broke because it was one of those you buy it as it is thing.
Uh-huh.
Not a single problem with it. I plugged
That's
it
good.
right in, and it's been awesome.
Do you have a press? You have a
I,
press?
I got the Easy Press.
Oh,
It,
okay. I
it's
bought one of the presses too. I bought the works when I did this, That hasn't been going so great either.
like you have the same bad habit I do. When you want to do something else, you buy everything possible to do
Yeah,
it.
well, you know what? You need the tools. I mean, it's like being a carpenter, like you can't just go in with a hammer. You have to have the rest of the tools to do the project. And
Exactly.
that's how I feel like with art, you have to have the tools and with that as well.
Well,
I
a
mean,
lot
it's
of times
fun.
I try not to buy. I try not to buy the stuff, but I always do because I like to make my own stuff. A lot of the stuff that I do, I make myself. Like before I got the Cricut machine, I was doing screen printing at home. I built my
Oh,
own
really?
press
Yeah.
and I made my own frames. But I was doing it with stencils because I don't have nowhere to put a dark room to actually burn the screens.
Oh, yeah.
And then I'd end up wasting so much ink because you could only really pull the ink across a stencil one time.
Yeah.
And other than that, it just floods out and it looks
Yeah.
terrible. So
Wow.
so the so the good old cry cut saved that one.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the screens and everything's just sitting there. But I bought all the screens. I even bought the stuff to burn
Oh, wow.
screens, but I found a couple like things on the internet of like how to do it with like a garbage bag and a closet. I tried to do it that way, and all it did was just cost me money because I was just
Yeah.
wasting materials, and that is frustrating. Mhm.
Yeah. Well, I haven't gotten into that yet. I I'm keeping it to just the limit of the because
Probably a good
everything I
idea.
see.
Don't ask me for advice because I can tell you how to waste about $600 on materials to burn screens and not get one screen made.
Yeah, oh my. Yeah. I mean, I've got like so many art supplies that I'm thinking, how am I ever going to use all this? But you do eventually. Every time I go to the store, I buy some kind of paint. I mean, do I need another tube of paint? No, but I buy it. It's like a habit. It's a
Yeah,
habit.
yeah, always got to come out of the store with something fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you buy all the stuff that you have to buy, take care of all that. But as long as you leave with one thing that's fun, it's a good trip. Mhm.
That's right. Exactly. Exactly. So now, like your surfaces, do you use paper or do you use canvas?
I use mostly the canvases,
Hmm.
the pre-bought ones. Uh, I've recently started trying to stretch my own canvases and build my own frames.
Hmm.
Because when I worked, I was a heating and air guy for
I
15
love it.
years. So I
I
have
love
like a million tools and I'm very capable of building things.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, wow, let me start trying this. And so just this past weekend, we had a little show over at Point Five Gallery. I had a couple pieces in,
Mm-hmm.
and my first canvas that I built the frame and I stretched, and then I usually typically don't frame my paintings because I know I would rather buy a painting myself and get my own frame.
Mm-hmm.
So I choose not to frame my paintings, but I built one for one painting that I did for that show just because I looked at it and I seen some materials laying around and I thought different kind of idea for it. I put like a plexiglass over a panel and then 2x4s and stuff. And it made it really heavy, but it looked sort of cool. But you can
Mm-hmm.
tell that need some practice on it before it's perfected. But
Yeah.
it's fun and I like doing it, so I might do more of it like that.
Mhm. Yeah, I've stretched some canvases. I kind of like doing it, but it's
I
just
know I
time
watched your video.
consuming.
I watched
Well,
on how to stretch pieces.
that was hard because it was already painted, and it's
Yes.
harder to do when it's already painted. It's a lot easier when it's just the canvas. Um, but what I had planned on doing, I had planned on just because I have so many canvas, that are already wrapped, and it's getting hard to store them. So I've been using just the canvas papers, and it's easier to store. And that was the first one I started with, and I thought, how am I going to stretch this? But I had learned that. Well, I actually almost minored in art when I was in college because I went a little later in life and everything. So I wanted to do something that I liked, and that was one of the things I liked. And I've told this story before, but I ended up minoring in theology. I went to Carlo, and
Oh, I was
so
going to ask you because I was watching one of your podcasts. And I heard you say something about theology.
yeah,
And I was going to ask you if you went to the Franciscan University of Steubenville, good old Steuby U, because I grew up in Steubenville.
uh,
And so whenever I hear about anybody taking theology classes, I don't ever think of Carlo. I think of the Franciscan University of Steubenville.
yeah, yeah.
One
Well,
point, I believe it was like the second or third largest Catholic university in America, right behind
really?
Notre Dame itself.
Oh wow. Yeah. Well, I couldn't travel out of Pittsburgh because I had two kids and I was single at the time, single parent. So I wanted to stay
Yeah.
close to Pittsburgh. So I went to Carlo, but I did love the theology. It was my idea to like get into healthcare, but that didn't work out. I ended up in the gas industry.
You got to chase that money.
Well, you know what? It wasn't the greatest thing in my life, that's for sure. Because I
Trust me.
went through a lot being a woman in a man's field. It was very hard.
But you
So
did it.
I did
Probably
it.
make you a better person for it,
I
stronger.
survived. I survived. I learned how to swear quite a bit. I
You know what? There's a saying that I love about swearing. There's only one bad word, and that is taxes.
yeah.
Anything that's good enough for a sailor is good enough for me.
Yep. Exactly. Well, that's exactly how I became. So, anyways, so how do you get inspired? Do you like do some research, or do you just like it comes into your head, or
A lot of stuff just sort of pops up there. I'm real good at catching the moment. Like if a random thought pops in my head, and I'm like, oh, that might be a cool thing, and I'll write it down, and then I'll think about how it will come out,
Mhm.
or I will think of like an idea for like a exhibition or a show or something that I could do multiple pieces of,
Mhm.
and then those I will sketch all out till I have them all that I want done for that, and then
Mhm.
paint them. And those I do more research on, but a lot of it is just random stuff. Then that's why I want to start thinking about putting a. I think I have about 300 paintings around here,
Mhm.
and I have them organized in my head as like 4 different shows.
Mm.
But one of them is just because I do so many random pieces. I just want to do like 100 piece of randomness and just title the show "Random BS." And
There you go.
Other evidence of a misspent youth.
Oh, there you go. Okay, that's good titles, though. Yeah, good titles.
I'm a real name the band kind of guy. Like I like titling stuff.
Yeah,
Like try to put little hints or funny things in
yeah.
titles.
Well, there's a
Every time I
couple.
talk to me that they're like, "Oh, well, what's the title of this one?" I'm like, "Oh, that one's Bones because it's like a skeleton or something." I'm like, "You picked the worst one, but the other ones are pretty good."
Yeah, that's good because sometimes it's hard to name a painting. Like after you've done it and you're looking at it, like, what do I name this?
Well,
So it's
because
good.
I'm pretty good at catching, like I said, catching the moment or the random thought I have. A lot of times my paintings start out as just a random thought of like just two words that I think are funny that come in my head, like debauchery and damnation or mischief and mayhem, and that will become a painting titled Mischief and Mayhem or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it just starts out like that. So a lot of times they come from the title first because when I was younger and I played in the band, I wrote all the songs. So I'm
Oh, really?
pretty
Oh,
good.
wow.
Even though I swear a lot and I don't shut up,
Yeah.
and I don't really talk like I'm well educated, but when I want to, I have a pretty good vocabulary.
Well, and you've given up. Now, what instrument did you play when you were in the band?
I was the bass player and the lead singer.
Oh, okay. My husband's a bass player.
I know.
Yeah,
I've done a lot of research on it.
you researched me pretty well then.
I am thorough when it comes to something like this because I do know that I'm goofy and I like to talk a lot and
Yeah.
yeah.
I can hear him downstairs practicing now because he's got a gig this weekend in Ligonier. So, yeah, so he's
Yeah.
down there practicing. So, well, I guess you don't get a creative block at all. Um,
Oh, sure I do.
oh, do
I
you?
do, but I have a little trick that I like to do to get past my creative blocks is I do 2 or 3 little series on real small canvases. One was Pittsburgh art. That's why a lot of things that I have Pittsburgh art written on it,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just like a generic something from around the city, and it says Pittsburgh art, and it's always on an 8x8 canvas panel.
Mm-hmm.
And just so I'm doing something, and it gets my brain going. Like I did one that I called the T-Rex series, but it was T and then Rex, like wrecking a car or something. And
Oh,
I
okay.
did a whole thing. It was like a dinosaur T-Rex. He wrecked a car, a motorcycle, a boat, a UFO, and it was so fun. Even a train, and then it was so fun. And one of my friends actually, he really enjoyed it, and he called me up Christmas Day. He goes, "Hey, you got any of those T-Rex paintings still?" And I was like, "Yeah, dude, I still got like 9 of them. I got like the whole series." He's like, "I want the whole series, dude." I
Oh,
was like,
wow.
I was like, "Are you kidding me?" He's like,
Wow.
he's like, "Nah, dude, I really love them, and I want the T-Rex series." So I
Cool.
sold it to him, and was very happy with him. And I was super stoked to sell not just a painting, but a whole series of them.
Yeah.
And then,
Nice.
like, I think it was like last month or 2 months ago, buddy. If you see this, you could remind me. Um, I had a little bit of block, and I made a little T-Rex thing, and I didn't even try to do nothing with it. I took it right to his house and just gave it to him. I was like, "Dude, you bought the whole series. You can have this one too. This was just to get the brain going again."
Aw. Well, that's kind of cool. Yeah. That's nice. I think sometimes doing a series is better because I just kind of random do stuff, but I'm kind of focusing on a little bit more of a series. I'm doing some of these portraits and, just in monotone. And I think that might be a series for me.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Like
So,
I've done a couple like one color paintings, like just I guess would be monotone would be the
mhm.
term, and it's fun, but it's sort of hard too. Like it's like, can I really make this picture look like this with no other colors? But I have one that I titled Barge City, and it's a dirty brown color on
Mhm.
I believe it's on a 11x14 canvas, but it was brown like the rivers in the city. So I took a palette knife and I tried to do an outline of the city with a barge going up the river. Stuff
Mhm.
that I typically don't do, and I did it in just brown and a palette knife, and
Mhm.
I liked it enough that I thought I'd submit it to the arts festival, but they were like, "No, we don't know you, no."
Yeah, it's hard to get in there. It really is. Yeah.
No, it's not. It's a free event. You just walk in and then
Well, that's the only
take
way.
it out from underneath your coat and just put it right there and
I never
get into
thought.
that show nice and easy.
Yeah, that I've
I'm
never
just kidding,
thought
kids.
of.
Don't do that. Don't do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Well, see, this has a little pop of color, but that's all I'm gonna do is like something with a little pop. Nothing real spectacular, you know. But
Can I
yeah,
ask you a question, Mary?
yes.
When you're done with a piece, do you how do you finish it, and do you go back and mess with it, or is it when you're done with it, you're done
Done.
with it? It's done.
It's done. Hmm.
See, I I have to I like to take a coating and I coat them when I'm done, and then I have to immediately put them away because if it's out, I will sit there and just pick at it
Yeah.
forever and it will drive me nuts. So
Yeah.
that's what I
I
have to do.
sometimes like if you do continue, you can really make it
A
you
mess.
know, yeah. So I've learned that too, you know, like I figure this is it, I'm done, there's nothing else I can do with this, I'm finished, you know.
That's another reason why I usually don't have my own art on my walls because I'll be like, you know what, this could use some red.
Oh, no kidding. Yeah. Yeah. That's going to be tough then for all your paintings behind you.
Oh
That
no!
you'd be looking.
As soon as we're done here, they're going right back to where I store them.
Oh, okay.
I've, I have a homemade projector screen behind it. So,
Oh, okay. Well, I like that one that's behind you. It reminds me of Van Gogh.
which one?
The one that's right behind you, the man. I don't know
Oh,
why it reminds me of Van Gogh. He's
that's my alter ego. That's the name
okay.
of it, alter ego, and
That's
I
you.
felt like that is the best attempt of a self portrait I've ever done. I have
Okay.
another one that I did on a like a Dollar Tree mirror where I literally traced my face and I just put hashtag selfie on it,
Uh-huh.
trying to sell it. But who wants a mirror with my face on it? I don't.
Well, you know, it's funny that you say that because I would never expect anybody to want to buy a painting of myself. And when I was in one of the classes I had done, it was like an abstract expressionism of myself. And I had put some paintings in the library in Mount Lebanon, and somebody bought that painting. I even asked the person, I said, why did you want to buy a painting of me? I mean, really, why? She said, well, I just love it. And I thought, I can imagine where that painting is. I just can't
Isn't
imagine it's in her front room or anything.
isn't it funny of what people really like when it comes to art?
I
'Cause
know.
it blows my mind. Like
Yeah.
I do so many different things, and all the stuff that I really like that I think are my bangers. Like this is my show stopping piece right here. I like it. It's one of
Yeah.
my favorites. Nobody wants nothing. It never gets picked for a show. But then like I got a bunch of ones that I just did real quick. They're like throwaways that they get picked for everything, or somebody
Yeah.
buys it for like way more than I ever thought I'd sell it for.
It's so funny because we talked about that today too on our little stream. Like some of the things that are the ugliest things to us are the ones that people love, you know, and who can figure it out? I mean, my painting wasn't ugly. Don't get me wrong. It was me, you know, but it wasn't ugly at all. It just amazed me that someone would want to buy my portrait.
Yeah,
You know?
I have two pieces up at Green Beacon Gallery right now. I have more than two pieces there, but I have two that they picked. Shout out to Phil. What's up, Phil, and the guys out there at Green Beacon? Thank you very much again. Uh, to me, when I did them, they were something silly that I did, and they liked them a ton. It was like one who had a donut for a sun and a horse and a coffee cup, and he was really into it. And I was like,
Yeah.
wow. I would have
Yeah.
never thought anybody. I thought that would be sitting in my basement forever. And now it's sitting in a gallery out in Greensburg, and it's beautiful.
Isn't that something? Oh, that's great.
But
Yeah.
yeah, those guys are real cool. And
Yeah.
when I think it's a total of 9 pieces that they selected to go out there, and it was like a real good mix. It was like half of the ones that I really like, and ones that I didn't think anybody would ever pick, and they picked them, and they really liked them. They seem to be like the people who like them. I haven't got no
Yeah.
complaints yet, and they haven't told me to come get them. So
Well, they're still there. Well, do you like contact the galleries yourself, or do you have someone to help you to do that? Because some
uh,
people have an art agent. You know,
no, no, I can't afford to pay anybody to do anything. A lot of stuff that I do, I find like art calls through Instagram, Facebook, not so much Facebook, Instagram's the way to go. It seems like for art because
yeah, it's
it just seems like it's a better community over there on Instagram for artists and just more supportive people. Like people on Facebook are just negative and gross.
I know. I mean, I found that out. People that I thought were, I belong to a couple art groups, and you can never get some. I mean, there's a few, but generally, you don't get anybody to like your art. And you wonder, what the heck?
Yeah,
I mean, there's
I'm in this group with 20,000 people, and you're going to tell me that not one person thinks this is okay? Like,
yeah,
I find that hard to believe, or statistically impossible almost.
well, yeah. I mean, it's
And then if somebody does say something, it's always something rude, and they're like, "Oh, you can't handle constructive criticism." I'm like, no, you could say, "Hey, man, I think this would look better if you use this color, or you shaded this a little bit different." But when you go, "Yo, that's ugly, dude. Get rid of that. Stop doing art. You suck." Like,
yeah. Oh, I know. You always get a troll.
I hate
Somebody that's going to cut you up. But yeah, constructive criticism is great, but not everybody is like that, especially today.
yeah,
It
just
seems
some
that
people.
people have gotten to be more trolly than anything.
It'd be
Well,
different if they're trolling and it was funny, but they're never funny. They're just like, "You suck. Like, quit." Like, it's like, dude, no.
yeah, like, what are you doing? Why are you wasting your time or something? But yeah, I've had a few that made me feel bad, actually. There was a point that I wanted to quit. I just wanted to give it up because I wasn't getting anywhere. And then my mom, she passed away. This is right before she passed away. I was working on a piece, and she says, "Whatever you do, don't give this up," because I was taking care of her. And I said, "Okay." And that piece won an award. That was my first award, and I said, "Okay, I guess this is it for me. Then I'm going to do it." So, but I don't even enter like shows like that where you get,
See, I like to enter shows. I don't ever enter the contest because
yeah, I don't like those
I
anymore.
don't I don't want it to be a competition. Like I don't mind being jurred in or stuff like
Yeah,
that, except for when they want you to pay before
yeah,
they pick you. Like I hate that. Like if you
yeah,
want to charge me a hanging fee or a commission off my work that you pick, that's fine. But don't tell me that you need $25 for me to look at it and tell me no. Like
yeah.
that
Oh, I hate
that's
that too.
ridiculous to me. And
I
that's
know.
but that's it. And then but since I said what's up to Phil and Green Beacon, also got to mention that thanks to Bob Fryer and Jimmy out at Point Five Gallery, I just started doing some work with those guys. Those guys are great, and much love to Chelsea and everybody at Roadkill Gallery because they were the first gallery to pick up any of my art and have it in their gallery. At it was actually the Homestead event last year,
Oh,
and it came at the perfect moment to, in my mind, go, yeah, you can do this, Scott. Because I went into the whole thing not really knowing anything about how the actual business side of art works, other than, oh, that's pretty, I like that.
hmm,
And a lot of people were real down and being real negative, like, why are you doing that? You can't do that. That's horrible. And
oh,
the more they said it, the more I just wanted to be like, you, and I'm
totally.
going to do it anyway. So that's when I
Mhm.
decided that
Yeah,
I wasn't going to take no for an answer, and I wasn't going to be ignored, and I just kept applying and doing all kinds of things. And then, right when, like the story with your mom, right when I was super frustrated, that's when Chelsea picked a painting of mine called Theater and put it in
mhm.
the Homestead show with Malcolm Xavier was the featured artist, and then that was awesome. And then Malcolm was so nice to me, and he's super helpful. And he every once in a while he still hits me up like, "Hey man, how's it going? You still doing well?" And stuff like that. And then it seems
Yeah,
like everybody that I've met so far has been that cool. And
nice.
the ones that are terrible, I haven't really ran into around Pittsburgh.
Hmm.
And yeah, I'm meeting a ton of great artists, and it's so awesome.
Yeah,
Like,
that's well. Are you from the Greensburg area or?
no, I grew up in Steubenville, Ohio,
Okay, so yeah.
and then back in the 1900s, I moved to Pittsburgh, and then I've been here since 1999.
Oh, okay.
And so I've definitely lived more than half my life in the city. I would definitely, even though I still tell everybody I'm from Steubenville, Ohio, and it's
Uh-huh.
not that far away. It's the burb of the birds.
Yeah.
But
Well, it's close. Yeah.
it's
Interesting.
yeah, I've been in Pittsburgh for way longer than I ever lived in Ohio. Mhm.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Well, yeah, I mean, it's a nice town. It's just hard for art, I think, sometimes. For me anyways, I have found it being more difficult because I don't know all the galleries. I used to there was a gallery in the South Side called Gallery Sim, and I would exhibit there occasionally, and I was so upset because he closed it. And when he closed it, it was like, "Oh, how could you do this?" It was a beautiful gallery. I mean, it was just a beautiful gallery. And there was some other galleries around, Pittsburgh, but some of them have closed. I mean, it's hard to have a gallery these days. It
Yeah,
is.
even though that's in my 5-6 year plan, is I eventually want to open my own. And speak of that, I mentioned everybody else, but I gotta mention Hilltop Coffee too, because they put me on a consignment deal last winter for 3 months, and they were awesome. They're super nice people too. Just
Nice.
all just that people that took a chance on me, and I just wanted to at least mention them and say how appreciative I am to them, because if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have this opportunity with you right now. And now,
Wow.
look at us now. We're having a nice conversation about art and being
Yeah,
silly.
it's nice. That's true. I mean, that's why I like doing this too, because I get to meet people in Pittsburgh that are artists or musicians. And, you know, I think sometimes we're just like a good kept secret that people don't really know us that well,
It,
and
it's
what we can do.
it's like when you're listening to punk music when you're a kid and it's the underground band. You don't ever want them to get too big because it's your special secret. Like you and only your friends know about it. But then when somebody starts making some money, you're like, sell out. How would they do that?
Yeah, yeah. You wonder how. I mean, it's all luck. Everything is luck, especially in the arts. It's just luck. You're at the right place at the right time, and then, well,
Uh, I would say luck is a small factor. I think it's more persistence. Like
well,
I said, I
that's
refuse to
it.
be ignored, so I will take over the art world one day.
There you go. Well, that's a good attitude. That's a good attitude. Well, so if people want to get in touch with you, like these art galleries and things like that, you will give me a list of your where they can touch base with you.
Uh,
I think you may have given me some information actually,
I did,
but I
but mostly SG Artworks with no spaces, all small letters with an X at the end instead of a KS. At
Mhm.
Gmail is my email. At SG Artworks is my Instagram. At SG Artworks 2 is my Facebook, because I started one other page before, but I was a knucklehead and got in trouble on Facebook and they banned me for a while, so I had to start a new page. So
Oh,
SG Artworks 2 and sgartworks.com. There you go. That's
okay. All sounds good. Well, I'll have that all in the information section too, so people can see and get in touch with you, and hopefully it
just watch out
all
for
work.
the autocorrect when you're typing it, because sometimes that G turns into an H and it looks hilarious. And
Well, the X too.
and the
Can
X messes people up, because
yeah,
I'm sure Steve knows about that too. What's up, Steve Pierce?
yeah, he should be
I gotta do something real quick, because the other guy that I met because of your podcast, Reverend. I forget. I just call him Rev when I'm talking about him. But he had a band on his shirt that nobody really knows but me. It was one of my favorite bands growing up. So I told him I'd make sure I get my old battle vest with that band's name on
Oh,
it.
cool. Look at that one.
There you go, Rev. I told you I'd get it on there. It's on there.
There you go. Good job. Good job. Okay. Well, it was really fun talking with you, and I
Really fun
appreciate
talking
your
with you
time.
too.
It was
And
good time.
yeah, so let's see.
And
Did I got
I'll
anything?
edit all those swear words that you did.
I
I'll
don't
make
think I actually slept myself. I'm actually proud of myself.
Yeah, you did good.
I just want to say real quick, June 18th, I'll have a pop-up store at Hilltop Coffee. So
Okay.
definitely make sure I said what's up to them.
Now, where's Slow Top Coffee?
It is on Arlington Avenue on the Arlington side, not the Allentown side.
Okay.
Up on the hill above South Side.
Okay.
See what else I got going on. Well, a lot of this pod's a little bit late because I just finished up a lot of stuff. I just finished up a show at Point Five Gallery. I feel like I'm missing something. Something else is going on. Oh, I'll have my booth set up at the Millville Music Festival at
Millville, yeah.
May 21st, I believe, is that date.
Okay. My husband played there.
I had a piece there last year with Road Gallery. Awesome.
Yeah, that's a pretty nice event.
And I got a ton of other stuff, applications out there, waiting to hear back whether I'm going to be in the shows. I have 3 pieces in the Pittsburgh Fringe virtual gallery, but that is this weekend. So actually, I thought this was coming out on a Sunday. It's coming out on Saturday. So Saturday night after you watch this premiere, go over to Pittsburgh Fringe and check out the virtual gallery. You'll find 3 SG Artworx pieces in there.
Awesome. That's good. Okay. Sounds good. Well, thank you so much, Scott. I appreciate it.
No, thank you, Mary. This was even more fun than I thought it was going to be.
Well, that's good to hear. I'm glad it was fun. It was fun for me too. I enjoy this stuff. Thank you.
Well, okay. Thank you.
Okay. You take care.
All right. You too.
Okay.